a high-performing sales professional, entrepreneur, leader, we know that so much of what is taught about how to get to the next level is about work more, hustle, grind. I know that so many times throughout my career, I felt myself defaulting to that. Like if I ever feel stuck or if I ever feel like, gosh, I just want to get more results, it can be so easy to say, I've got to grind harder, I've got to push harder. But today I want to flip that on its head for you. We're going to challenge what you may have originally thought about what is needed to create a quantum leap. And for those of you who are here live, we're going to have time for live coaching and integration, which I'm super excited for. So welcome for those of you who are here live. We are so happy to see you. Shout out to Lauren, Carol, Laura. Good morning. How are you? We are so happy to see you today. If we have not met before, if you're not familiar with me, my name is Elyse Archer. I am the founder and CEO of She Sells and Superhuman Selling. And my heart and passion is in helping you get unstuck, helping you quantum leap, helping you know and experience that you can live the business, the life of your dreams. You can expand exponentially, financially, impact wise, lifestyle wise, fulfillment wise, and you can do it with greater ease than you probably ever thought possible as well. So I am excited for this conversation. Sarah, welcome. Good morning. Your background is beautiful. It looks so nice where you are. I love it. I love it. So today is for you. If you have ever felt busy, overwhelmed, exhausted, or like you're constantly checking boxes, but you're on a hamster wheel or you're not where you actually want to be, today is for you. And out of curiosity, for those of you who are here live, how many of you have ever felt that? You're like, I'm doing the things, I'm checking the boxes, I'm taking the action. I see lots of hands raising, and yet, why is the needle not moving? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And that was so much of my own personal experience for really about a decade. And I'll just share a little bit of my own story here in a second, but I just want to say first, I understand if you have ever felt like that, or if you're currently feeling like that. And today we're going to talk about, creating a quantum leap in your business and life. Maybe you want to go from 6 to 7 figures. Maybe you want to go from 7 to 8. Maybe you want to leave your corporate job and start a new company. It's not about sitting there doing nothing, right? Some people think, especially in the manifesting spiritual world, I can just sit there and do nothing and let it all come to me. It's not about that. And we're going to talk about why today. And it's also definitely not about hustle, burnout, grind. And that's what I think we're taught so often. And there's an identity gap that we get to close first when we are quantum leaping. And from there, the action we take will be very, very different. And so today, I want to help you understand and anchor into, how do I know which actions to take to quantum leap my business? How can I tell if the action I'm taking is actually moving me forward versus just keeping me stuck? And then how do I quantum leap? And what is the path to that? So it's going to be really good. Before we do that, a couple logistics. This is a free call that I offer weekly. However, you need to be registered to attend, to join, to get live coaching. So ElyseArcher.com/expansion-room is where you need to go to register. Lauren, if we can make sure that that link gets dropped in the chat. And then that gives you the opportunity to come in, to be in here with the community, to understand, what is it like to be part of the She Sells or Superhuman Selling community? What is it like to be coached by Elyse, by the team? What is it like to have support at this level? And also hopefully to help move you forward in your life and your business as well. And so that's the vibe. That's what we're doing here. And I have a free training for you that I'll have the team share in just a minute. But before I do, I want to just share kind of why I'm so passionate about this topic. And I'll share about my own experience of feeling like I was doing all the right things, but not moving forward. So I came up, I'm just closing down all the things here. I came up in a very like hustle grind sales environment, selling media and marketing sales. And it was so focused on cold calling. Like I could cold call like a mofo, y'all. Like I could do it. I mastered my script. I could do it. I could teach you how to cold call today. I'm not going to say it's the best thing for you to be doing necessarily, maybe for some of you, but it's way more about the energy you're in when you're doing your reach outs. I can tell you that. I did door-to-door selling for a while. I did cold calling. I've done high level, um, large scale sales as well. So I've done it all. I've coached and trained probably every industry out there, but what I was taught for so long was that success is all about who's taking more action. That was it. It's like, who can take the most action? Who can outperform everyone else? How many of you understand that? Drop a one in the chat if you ever think like, I'm just not doing enough. It must be that I'm not doing enough and I'm pushing and I'm trying to make it happen. But there's got to be a gap where maybe I just need to do more. And that was what I was taught. So many ones, Sarah. I love it. And that's what I thought for so long as well. Amy's saying one, yeah, that's what we're taught. For about 10 years, I tried things that way. First in my corporate sales job, then after I left corporate to become an entrepreneur, to run my own coaching business. And I took massive action, y'all, like massive action. I mean, getting up at 2 a.m., going to bed super late, diving immediately into my email inbox when I woke up, feeling behind before I'd even gotten started. How many of you can relate to that where you're like, I just feel like there's always more to do. There's never enough time. The word overwhelm was like my middle name. I mean, you name the experience of feeling overwhelmed, depleted, burnt out. Like that was me to a T. It started manifesting in health issues, not just burnout and emotional exhaustion, but panic attacks and eating disorder. So many things that I struggled with quietly internally because I didn't want anyone to know what I was going through. And financially, the interesting thing was I couldn't outperform my ceiling. So, have any of you ever felt capped at a certain income level where it's like, no matter how hard I work, I always make $7,000 a month, $8,000 a month, 15, 5, 2, I don't care what it is, but like you're doing the things where you're like, why do I feel like I can't go beyond this? Let me see what Laura's saying in the chat. Sometimes I get tired from all the things I think I need to do and do nothing at all. Yeah, that like we can swing, we can pendulum swing with this, right? Um, I get that. We're going to talk today too about we don't want to be on one end of the spectrum, which is like the massive action but hustle and burnout, or on the other, which is doing nothing. The quantum leap is really when you find alignment and you're taking action, but it's in flow. So we're going to talk about that more today. But that will happen if you get to the point where you're like, I just have to push, I just have to force, I just have to make it happen. At a certain point, your body, your brain, your nervous system say no. And then you feel confused, tired, depleted, like I'm just not gonna do anything, right? So that doesn't get us anywhere. Now, 10 years feeling stuck, 10 years hitting a ceiling, 10 years frustrating, beating myself up, thinking there's something wrong with me. And I finally got to a point where I said, there's got to be a better way. Maybe it actually took a lot of humility to say, maybe there's another way. Maybe these other people who talk about quantum leaping, who talk about manifesting their vision board, maybe they know something I don't know. And I was open. I had a good friend who had passed away in his sleep at age 39, right around this time. My first son was 4 months old. And I was like, you know what? So much of my energy is consumed with wanting more, but not experiencing it, beating myself up for my results, scarcity mindset and energy, fear about money, fear about, am I going to like be able to pay my bills or am I not? All of that. And I said, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. I knew all the right things to do. Like I said, I've had spectacular training from a lot of different mentors and have been privileged to teach strategy, sales and business strategy across all different industries. I've worked with billionaires, New York Times bestselling authors, top 10 podcasters to help them grow their businesses. Like I know how to grow a business strategically, and I knew this at that time, but something wasn't moving the needle in my own business and in my own life. And I always felt stuck. And so that inspired me to say, I'm going to go all in on figuring out what's been holding me back. Why am I working so hard, but the needle's never moving? And I invested heavily in myself in mentorship in a way that felt extremely uncomfortable. It was half of what I made the whole year before. I did not have the money sitting around to do it. I had to figure out how to scrape together the deposit on a credit card and say, oh my God, please, like this has to work. This is like, but the beautiful thing about it was I was committed and I was in and I was ready for change. And I started studying all the things that I thought didn't really make a difference to our results, things like wealth consciousness, spirituality, universal laws. And I started dramatically shifting my awareness of what actually creates our results. And one of the things I learned in that process is that your results will never supersede your identity. So if you have seven-figure dreams, which I did, but a six-figure identity, which I also did, you're never going to be able to break past that loop. Does that make sense? So what happened was I stopped focusing so much on what I was doing. And instead, I started learning about who I was being. I started understanding self-concept. I started understanding ways I was shrinking or playing small or not fully speaking my truth, not showing up fully unapologetically. I started putting myself out there differently. I sang on social media for the first time, and I was a singer growing up. I had stopped singing publicly after being sexually assaulted in college, and my coach at the time encouraged me to go out there and do it and be visible. And so I did it, and I was trembling, and I was like, "Who the heck do I think I am doing this? This is so uncomfortable." I launched a new program. I invited people to it. But the key was it was the identity I was in when I was taking these actions, not the things I was doing themselves. Does that make sense? And in a period of 6 weeks of making that decision to go all in, invest in myself, that I was done playing small, I was done being stuck. Within 6 weeks, I turned my annual income into my monthly income. I have continued to quantum leap. I have continued to grow. I have continued to learn and understand this at a deeper level. And it has been such a beautiful journey and experience to see now so many others in our community have their own quantum leap, get out of their own way, get unstuck. I'm seeing Laura D on this call, and I'm thinking about how you have launched your business, you left corporate, you launched your business, you are ascending, you are growing, you are creating something that is so phenomenal. We know that you're going to be on CNN. We've seen it. We know it. Like, follow her, y'all. Follow her if you're not following her. She's amazing, and really, really just talented at helping, especially female entrepreneurs, grow and scale their business in the ops side. And she's just one example of so many in our community who are ascending, who are quantum leaping, who are growing. And I put together here, before I forget, because I'm going to go on a tangent with this. There's a free training you can get if you haven't taken it yet. This training, Lauren, if we can drop the link for the 4 quadrants free training in the chat, please. This training teaches a method that when I looked back at my own quantum leap, at that first quantum leap, and I said, what in the world happened? How did this happen so fast after being stuck for so long? This method downloaded. It was pre-AI, so I call it God. Like the method came from God. That's AI could probably give you a really cool title and everything for it now. This was before that. It came from God, y'all. It's called the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth. When I look back at what happened, this is what I was doing without knowing it. This training will take you step by step through that process. So for today, we don't have time to cover all 4 quadrants, which kind of explain the different areas to focus on if you want to have a quantum leap. But we're talking about the 4th quadrant, which is, we call it method. It's really action. What are the actions you're taking to quantum leap? So here's what I've seen in the community, in my own life. People tend to live at 2 ends of the spectrum. And I want you to just identify, and if you're here live, share in the chat which end of the spectrum you're in. One is massive action, masculine energy. I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm doing the things, like I can go from sun up to sundown and not stop. I'm a machine. I've got my venti coffee right next to me. Like I am going, but I'm feeling depleted, tired, burnt out, right? That's one end of the extreme. That's masculine, masculine, masculine. The other end is I've heard it called the swampy feminine. I'm in my swampy feminine, meaning I love manifestation. I'm going to sit here and just let everything I want come to me. I'm not going to move a finger. I'm going to let it all come in. I'm going to attract it. I'm going to draw it in. Beautiful. And we live in a 3D universe. We live in a space where you got to move your body through space and time. And when you're aligned with your goal and your vision, which is part of what we teach you to do in our community, the action feels amazing. You don't want to just sit there. You actually can't hold yourself back from taking action because you're so excited about it. And that's one of the first keys I want to give you to, is this quantum leap action or is this busy work? Quantum leap action feels exciting, effortless, maybe a little stretchy. We'll talk about that today because it's going to stretch the old self-concept of you and who you are, but you want to take action when you're aligned. So, and maybe if I need to define what aligned means, let me know in the chat because I can talk about that. But these are the two extremes that people tend to live in. And there's actually a beautiful middle ground that I found that as I continue to quantum leap my own life, as I continue to ascend, there's always another level of the middle ground that I find. And this is the key, and this is what we want to talk about today. So I find probably the majority of our community and the clients we serve, not everyone, but the majority are more coming in the action. Like, I know how to move. I know how to act. I know how to hustle. Wait, you're telling me this could feel easier? You're telling me I could make more money and work fewer hours? I think about one of our clients and certified consultants who's in corporate selling, and she skyrocketed to the top of the leaderboard, reducing her working hours to, I think she had been at like 50 to 60. She reduced her working hours to 30 a week to be more present with her 1-year-old daughter using this methodology. She's an example of exactly what we're talking about here, where people often are so in massive action that it's hard to believe it could be easier. I remember hearing a mentor say once, I had a mentor tell me, Elyse, it's easier to make 7 figures than it is to make 6. And when she told me that, I was like, huh, that doesn't make any sense. But what I found was that it's actually true, because going to the next level, especially if you're someone who knows how to grind, how to work, how to push, when you learn how to open up to receive, when you learn how to energetically align with your next level, when you learn how to lean more into your feminine to allow in more flow, more divine inspiration, that's the energy of the quantum leap. So I want to just challenge you right now to think about your goal. Think about your financial goal in your business right now, or your sales career and what it is. What if it was easier to do that than to do what you've been doing? Just let yourself play with that idea. I see wheels turning. I see some disbelief, but here's what I'm here to tell you today. It is 100% possible and available to you. 100%. And I want to invite us all to remember that. I want to invite each of you to play with the concept of, wow, what if I let it be easier to make $100,000 a month than $10,000 a month? What if I let it be easier to make 25K versus 5K again? Whatever your goal is, that's where I want to start with you. I'm just checking the chat here. This topic is so on point for me. Yes. Sarah saying, I love to fluctuate between masculine and feminine multiple times a day. Laura, you're the same. Yeah. So there's a beautiful alignment here. And it's in the middle. It's always in the middle. So I've shared this analogy before. I'm going to share it here again because it stuck with me so much when I heard it for the first time. And then we're going to talk about, how do you know if the action you're taking is actually aligned or not? I gave you a few teasers before, but I want to go deeper with you here today. I was rereading some of Price Pritchett's U Squared yesterday while I was having lunch, and it has so many beautiful reminders of how to know that you're taking action that's actually going to move the needle for you or not. So Abraham Hicks has a beautiful analogy where they talk about a lot of people love busy work. And the way that a lot of people go about their days or taking action, because a lot of times we feel safe in busy work, would be the equivalent of if you were trying to vacuum your living room and you were vacuuming this thing and you were moving, like you're working it, you're burning your calories, you're like, I'm going to get this thing clean. But then you realize the vacuum was never plugged in. How many of you are taking action like that right now, where you're like, I'm doing all the things. Why is the needle not moving? The vacuum's not plugged in. All right. Now, what do I mean by the vacuum being plugged in? It means that you actually go to your vision first before you take action. And I think this is something that is so missed in the sales world, in the business world. I do a lot of teaching and trainings across the country and across the world now for different organizations and different audiences. And so much of what is taught is very heavy on action. Do this thing, follow the same playbook as the top performer. But why is it that, let's say there's a network marketing company or a direct sales organization or I gave a keynote at a modular building sales company last year in Canada. Let's say it's that. Why is it that you can have 50, 100, 1,000 people all with the same formula? They all know exactly what to do. They all know exactly what to say, but you always know who the top performer is going to be. And you always know who's going to be bottom of the pack. You always know who's going to be in the middle, right? The ones at the bottom of the pack probably won't be there forever because they're going to be let go or they're going to move on to something else. Why? They all have the same playbook. They all have the same formula. The top performer identifies as a top performer. If someone is there consistently, they're comfortable being seen, they feel like they deserve it, they feel worthy of it. That's part of their identity. Those who are in the middle feel less comfortable being seen. Who here can identify with having like a moderate level of success in all areas of your life where you're like, I'm pretty successful. Like I'm more successful than most. I do enough to be more successful than most, but I've never been like number one, or I haven't stayed there, or I've never like far outperformed everyone else in my company or in my community or in my family. That's identity. That's self-concept. I used to live there. I would get to a certain level of success that felt comfortable, that matched my self-concept of like, I am better than average, but I'm not number one. Because number one was loaded. What does number one mean for a lot of people? It means visibility, eyes on you. For many, subconsciously, it means potential alienation in your family, people judging you, people wanting more from you. These are the things. We do a ton of work in our community, in my mastermind, in the 10K club, with our certified consultants to help you understand the hidden reasons why you're not earning more money, because it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Those things come into play. So if someone is consistently middle of the pack or not actually achieving their goals, there's some sort of fear around having more, around being number one. There's something that conflicts with their self-concept, with their perception of safety, with what they believe to be normal and natural for themselves. That's why we want to get under the hood. That's why the 4 quadrants method is so powerful, because it's not just about the action. It's going to teach you how to shift your identity, how to shift your financial set point, how to become someone where earning less than $100,000 a month would feel weird or crazy or like, well, that's not me, right? You can apply it to whatever your financial goal is. And again, it works whether you're in sales, whether you're an entrepreneur. But where was I going? I have so many ideas spinning in my head. Let me get back on track with that. It's not the action alone that matters. Actions stem from your self-concept. All right. Actions are going to stem from your self-concept. So plugging in a vacuum cleaner before vacuuming would be the equivalent of doing the inner work to become an energetic match for your goal, right? Someone type in here who's here live. What's your goal right now? Give me just like in a nutshell, brief little goal. It could be a financial goal. It could be I'm launching this thing. Let's see here. Sarah saying being seen is the thing I'm working through right now. Yeah. I want it so badly and hate it so much when it happens. Okay. So Sarah, brilliant self-awareness. There's so much conflict in that, right? So and that's the powerful thing to know. Like I want it and I don't like it when it happens. When you clear that inner conflict, you're going to be so free and clear to be seen. It's inner game first. So it's beautiful awareness, right? And that's how a lot of people operate. Like we want it, but what's the fear behind it? I'm going to be judged. So there's a lot of different things, but this is something I've learned to do with my goals is whatever the goal is, when I set it, I'll then ask myself, like, what am I afraid of with this? Who am I afraid I'm going to hurt? What am I afraid is going to happen to me? What's my limiting belief around this? Because there's always something. Otherwise, you would have achieved it before if it's anything you've been focused on for a long time. And then you work through that while you move towards the goal. Laura is saying, so your goal is getting new clients and building my new operational framework for entrepreneurs who are scaling. Beautiful. Okay. So Laura's goal is getting new clients, building my new operational framework for entrepreneurs who are scaling, which feels a bit scary to introduce myself in that way. That's part of quantum leap action. How do you know it's a quantum leap? You're like, am I going to say this? Does it like, it feels uncomfortable to the old self concept. That's part of how you know you're on the right track. You feel incredibly uncomfortable because it's challenging the old version of you. Discomfort is a good sign. It is a sign of growth. You're not going to stay there forever. But when you're in the in between, when you're bridging the old identity and the new identity, there's still the old part of you that's like, is this okay? Can I do this? Is this safe? So that discomfort is actually a good sign. But so to what Laura shared and to what we're talking about here, so Laura's work, and you're in our $1 Million Business Program, so we work on this together, so you know this, but Laura's work is seeing herself as a woman who has a world-class framework that's changing the entrepreneurial landscape, who consistently and automatically receives new clients because it's who she is. So then we got to look at, okay, from that standpoint, what are the thoughts, feelings, and actions that you're taking? And her goal is to embody that every day. That's the foundation of the work that we do in the community. That's the foundation of the 4 quadrants teaching. So we'll talk at the end of this call. I'll share about if you want to go deeper into that, if you want to be supported in actually bridging that gap, here's how we can help support you. But for now, that's the key and that's the work. So when we have done the inner work to feel worthy of our goal, there can be a lot of clearing that has to happen. Sometimes you got to let people out of your life. You got to let situations out of your life. You got to let limiting beliefs out of your life. Some people move, they make big changes, and like it's a growth process, right? But it's beautiful. How do you know then that the actions that you're taking are actually moving the needle? If you feel, I just want to preface all of this. If you're taking a lot of action, but it feels like busy work, you feel uninspired, it feels heavy, you're not moving the needle. You'd be better to go out for a walk. You'd be better to take a nap. You'd be better to go play with your kids and get back in a good state. So the first thing that I want to look at is your feeling state. Your feeling state. Sometimes people say, can I trust? How do I know that the action I want to take is actually an action I should take? How did you feel when you received it? How did you feel when you received it? Were you in a positive state or were you in a negative state? If you're in a negative state, don't follow it. It's not an aligned action. If you're in a state of like judgment or beating yourself up or self-doubt or should, any action that comes from that energetic state, and they can feel loud because your brain in that state is like, you got to go do something. You got to be doing, like, it can be very loud. That's not what is going to quantum leap you. I want you to look at when I received this impulse, this idea. Maybe you got an idea to launch a podcast, to reach out to a prospect, to apply for a speaking engagement, to go for a walk, right? Did the idea come while you were feeling inspired, excited, expansive, even calm? Calm is the gateway to the higher level states. Calm, clear. Did it come from an energetic state that's positive? If so, follow it. Now, while you're following that action, let me give you an example. I see this for clients who invest in themselves in our community. And I had this experience when I first invested in myself bigger than I'd ever invested in myself before in coaching, which was 5 years ago now. You are not necessarily going to feel good the entire time you're following that action. The origin of the action, the state you were in when you received the action, the impulse that I should do this, I should invest in myself, I'm going to get into this program, I'm going to get into 10K club, I'm going to get into 50K club, I'm going to hire my team member, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Were you in a beautiful energetic state when the idea came? Then yes, you must follow it. Now, in the process of taking the action, you may encounter limiting beliefs. I remember this happened when I first invested in myself and in coaching in the biggest way ever. I went through, I call it a 3-week dark night of the soul, which Wayne Dyer calls dark night of the ego, which I love, where I was pretty regularly encountering limiting beliefs, fear, what am I doing? Who am I to do this? So it doesn't mean that you necessarily stay, that you're in a beautiful state the entire time you're having quantum leap action, because it will feel uncomfortable. But did the idea for the action originate when you were in a beautiful state? I want you to pay attention to that. If so, it will get you to where you want to go. Now, you always hear like intuition comes first, fear comes second, right? The intuition feels calm, peaceful, like love. It's not tied to current circumstance. It's tied to your vision. You got to follow that. Then the brain will kick in, and it can be sometimes a millisecond later and say, what are you doing? That's crazy. I've been working with someone right now who's getting into our mastermind, and she's so excited, and her intuition has been like, yes, I need to do this. And some of the limiting beliefs have come up about like credit cards and debt and feelings about that, feeling some kind of way about that. So it's been a beautiful process to get to help support her in that. But that's the way the brain works. But did the idea for the action come when you were in a beautiful state? If so, follow it. Number 2, does the action stretch the old version of you? Does it stretch the old version of you? So Price Pritchett in U Squared, I was trying to find my copy because I literally was reading it yesterday and I don't know where I put it, but I wanted to pull it out for this. So I'm just going to roughly paraphrase what he says. He talks about when you're quantum leaping, it often looks like a sharp right turn from what you were doing before. It's not going to be more of the same. It's often going to be very different. So he says, look for the paradoxical approach. Do something dramatically different. Do things that other people would say, that's crazy, that makes no sense. But there's something inside of you that says, follow this, do this. It will not make sense in the moment. It will only make sense afterwards. All right. Now, it's going to stretch the old version of you. It's going to make you uncomfortable. The only time you don't feel uncomfortable is if we're just doing more of the same of what we already know. Well, if you're doing more of the same of what you already know, you're going to keep getting the same results. This is why I stayed stuck at 6 figures for 10 years. I just kept doing more of the same. I was beating my head against a wall. I was like, why is this not working? I feel like I'm doing all the right things. So you're not alone if you feel that way, but there is a different path. And this is the path of the quantum leap. One of the things that he says is that action, when you're truly quantum leaping, it's often a more elegant solution. It's often a more direct path. I always think about efficacy over effort. So if you ever feel like you're efforting and you're like pushing and grinding, what's the most efficient path? Now, we've been taught that we can't have big, beautiful things unless we work really hard for them, right? And we're taught that from birth. And that can be a challenging belief to let go of. But on a spiritual level, universally, Abraham Hicks talks about ask and it's given, right? Laura, the business you talked about in the chat, that's done, that's given, it's already happened. And if you were to take action from that place, there's no efforting that's needed. There's no forcing or making it happen. There's following the path of bliss and fun and joy to get there. Now, again, this challenges beliefs for so many high performers, top producers, people who identify as having a really strong work ethic. Again, it's not that you're not taking action. I'm not telling you to like sit there and twiddle your thumbs, but I'm telling you, it's the energy you're in when you take the action that makes all the difference. You all with me there? Now, the action that you're taking, why is it going to stretch the old self-concept of you? It's going to require you to invest in yourself in ways that feel radically uncomfortable, that based on current circumstance don't make sense. Here's how and this is what I was working with this client yesterday who's getting into our mastermind. And I told her, you have to start doing what I think this is Neville Goddard who talks about this in his work, thinking from the end. I know Bob Proctor talked about it. I think it was a Neville original. Thinking from the end. What does that mean? Every choice that you have, every decision that you make, do not do it based on current circumstance. Make it based on where you're going, not where you've been. When I first decided to invest $50,000 in myself for 6 months of coaching, it was not because it made sense based on where I was. It made no sense based on where I was. But I had heard you should invest 5 to 10% of what you want to make that year into coaching. And I said, okay, I want to make $1 million, so I should be investing at least 100K a year, not more. So it makes sense from there. Does that make sense? So you start evaluating every decision from the end state, not from where you've been. Now, Joe Dispenza talks about this. Your personality creates your personal reality. So your personality, how you think, how you feel, and how you act is comfortable at your current level of results. It has created your current level of results. Now, there is a new version of you that's required to create the next level of results. So I don't care if you're bottom of the leaderboard in your corporate sales job and you want to go to the top, it's possible, but it's going to require that you abandon the old self-concept and you start playing with the idea of who am I when I'm at the top of the leaderboard? If anyone else could do it, maybe I could too. What thoughts would I be thinking from that place? What feelings would I be having? And what actions would I be taking? And that's one of the first things that we teach you when you come into our community in the 10K Club in particular, is we teach you a process, a method for actually identifying the identity and the self-concept of who are you at your end goal and then fusing with it. And then here's the thing, the actions you take must be in alignment with that, not with where you've been. This is why it feels so uncomfortable, because the current version of you says, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. Why am I test driving a G-Wagon when I can't even pay for my Honda? Just throwing it out there. Why am I filming a speaker demo video when I've never given a keynote before? What the hell? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I investing this much when I don't even have it in the bank? Why? It's because it's in alignment with where you're going, not where you've been. So you have to stop paying so much attention to present results, and you have to shift your energy to where you're going and start taking action from there. But the old self will scream at you. The old self will say, what are you doing? Here's the catch. When you're in a negative emotional state, do not listen to your thoughts. They are not your truth. This is the key. It's not your truth. It's not your highest self. Truth feels good. Truth feels like love. Truth feels like you can breathe. Truth feels good. That's how you know you're thinking thoughts in alignment with your highest self. It feels good. All right. So if you find yourself in a loop of self-doubt, of questioning yourself, of why am I doing this? You're not in alignment. You need to stop what you're doing. You need to get back in alignment with where you're going and then take action again from that place. All right. And it will feel like, the phrase I use is butt clenching. It'll feel like, am I really doing this? Am I really about to invest in myself in this way? Am I really diving in? Yes, you are. You are. And you're going to say, I'm quantum leaping myself right now. I did something this morning and my brain told me, it was like, what the heck are you doing? Elyse? As I was doing it, I was like, I'm quantum leaping. I'll tell you all about it when I can tell you all about it. But I was like, I'm quantum leaping. Yes, I am doing this. Yes, this is uncomfortable. Yes, this challenges the old version of me, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'm worth it, because I believe in myself, because I deserve it, because I deserve better, etc. So that's that's it. You're going to feel uncomfortable. So do you feel uncomfortable while you're taking the action? Just like Laura said before, I feel so uncomfortable introducing myself this way. Good, good. I want you uncomfortable. Once you once you energetically fuse with your next level, once your self-concept shifts from a woman or a man who has a mediocre or a moderate level of success to someone who has exponential success, you'll start to get more comfortable at that next level. But then there will be another level that unfolds. You're like, oh, I want that. And there's more discomfort. It's okay. It's about, this is again, feminine versus masculine energetics. It's about the journey more so than the destination. All right. Here's the third way you know that your actions are quantum leaping you. You actually see the result. But that's the last step. That's going to happen after you feel uncomfortable. That's going to happen after you feel good. That's going to happen after you fuse with the result. All right. It happens after. So remember, we operate in time lag. This is so important to remember. There is a period of time from which you say this is happening to when the thing happens. We can shorten that period of time. There's a training in 10K Club that I love, which is about how to do that, how to shorten and close the gap between your end state, your goal, and where you are right now. And it's all about your frequency, your alignment, your level of resistance or non-resistance to what you want. But there is generally some time lag that passes from when you set the goal and the vision and you take the actions to when it happens. The key with that is to remember that time lag exists with pretty much everything that's created in the natural world. There's a gestation period for a baby, for a tree, for a plant, for everything, for your business, for your relationship, for the money. Don't go freaking out and ripping out the seed you just planted because you don't see it yet, right? So the results come last. But through doing this work, what I've found and what we help our clients do is to find, you get to such a sense of peace and calm where you're no longer looking for the thing because you feel like it's already happened and you're living more joyfully than ever before and you're happier than ever before. You feel like you don't need it anymore to be happy. That's exactly when it comes in. So there's an element of surrender to this. And I'm going to have one of my clients, we're going to announce our Superhuman Selling live dates for this year soon. So stay tuned because we'd love to have you all there. I'm going to have one of my clients, if I can, come on stage and talk about his journey with surrender and an outcome that he was gripping and that he was holding tightly to and making important, and how the moment he surrendered it, within 48 hours, everything transformed in his life. Like the sale came in, a huge deal came in that took care of everything for him. His relationship improved. Like it's a beautiful, there's so many like God, whatever your language is, God, source, universe elements to the story. It's so beautiful, but you got to surrender it first. So questions on any of that? Does anyone have a coaching question? I want you to be thinking about, that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. We could go deeper. But I want to really, really, really kind of stop there for today. We'll talk about, if you would like to go deeper in this work, what that can look like and how my team and I can help support you, how you can book a call with us. But if you have a coaching question, raise your hand or type it in the chat. That's one of the advantages to signing up and being here live, is you actually have the opportunity for us to talk live and for me to coach you. So I'll give everyone a second to think about what your question is. I'm just looking in the chat. Mary, hello, hello. My vision is to help 1,500 aspiring leaders become impactful communicators. Yes, inspiring their teams to grow exponentially. Mary Van Dorn is a great speaking coach. Go follow her if you want to learn how to become a masterful presenter. And she's got a very cool academy that she's launched as well, that I think is phenomenal. Sarah is saying, I feel this so much, Laura. Yes. I love the connection in here. So I want to share about, it's one thing to sit here and to listen to this and say, I want a quantum leap. It's another thing to energetically be unavailable to not have that happen for you anymore. And if you are energetically unavailable to not quantum leap, to be stuck where you are, to feel like there's so much more available for you, to feel like you see other women or men building, six, seven-figure beyond businesses, creating their dream life, retiring their partners, traveling the world, doing what they want to do. Like these are things that are happening continuously in our community. We are here to help support you. And everything shifts when you say yes to yourself and when you invest in yourself. So, Lauren, if we could put the next steps link in the chat, please. We have multiple beautiful programs and ways to help support you in your journey. Everything from private coaching with me or a member of my team to a high-level mastermind, my inner circle, that's for women who are already at the six-figure level looking to go to multi-six or seven. It's a beautiful community. Some of you are here today. We love you. Hello, you're amazing. And we also have an incredible membership, which is super affordable to come join, and a group program that I've been leading. It's called the 10K Club. I've been leading it for over 5 years now. It's our foundational program. It's life-changing. You get in there, you get access to that material curriculum. It will change your life. One of the fun things I was going to share, I forgot to share this earlier when I talked about investing in yourself. There's a different energy in kind of sitting on the sidelines, watching other people quantum leap and being like, yeah, I'd like that too. But you're not actually really doing it, if that makes sense. When you follow the nudge and you follow the intuitive guidance and you're like, that program is lighting me up. That, like being coached by Elyse, by her team, that's lighting me up. When you follow that nudge and you actually invest in yourself, there is a different energy behind it. And the universe responds not to what you're saying, but to the energy you're putting out. When you invest in yourself and you say, it's a non-negotiable for me to make $500,000 this year, $1 million this year, $5 million this year, and you play all out, you put money into it, there is a different energetic signature. One of my clients, who's also one of our certified consultants, when she invested in private coaching with me, this is my old rate was 6 figures. It's up from that now, but it was 100K for the year. This was years ago. She invested in that. It was very stretchy for her. It was very uncomfortable for her. It was a quantum leap moment for her, but her intuition was guiding her. Within 1 week of making that investment, she got it back. A client offered her a job opportunity to come work. Well, it was really a consulting gig for her, but it was the exact amount. How beautiful is that? But it required her to first say yes to herself, to invest, to be willing to circulate the money. When you're investing in yourself, you need to think of it as circulation, not I'm putting this out there and it's not coming back. If you do it that way, you're going to have an experience of it not coming back. Do it in gratitude, do it in appreciation, do it expecting it to come back to you. Do it with a thank you. Do it with, this is God's money, source's money, universe's money. I'm going to circulate this. Thank you. It's beautiful. When you get into that flow, I have so many beautiful examples in my life and also in our clients' lives where you do that and the money comes back multiplied. So what if whatever money you invested in yourself, whether that was $10,000, $50,000, whatever, what if it came back multiplied for you? What would that be like? And it will when you believe and remember that you are your own very best asset. And so, and I'll say with that, and then I'll tell you how to book a call. With that, you take you wherever you go. So if you want to launch a business or you want to grow your business, I would encourage you to invest in yourself to be the very best version of yourself launching that business. If you want to go from middle of the pack in your job to top of the pack, or maybe you feel like you're close to top of the pack, but you feel depleted, burnt out, like you're always pushing and you really want to be number one, but you're like, I don't know how I could work any harder. Investing in yourself to get in the energy of someone who knows how to do it and to help you quantum leap in less time is the best thing you can do for yourself. So my team and I are here to help support you. On that next steps page, you can book a free call with us to talk through your vision, your goals, what you want to accomplish, and to see what the best path could be for you. There's zero pressure. I'm not about like, you got to do this, you got to do that. I am here. My team is here. We are here to help you really hone in on your goal, to see what that's going to look like, to help support you, and then to see, is this the best path to help get you there? Some of you are listening to this and you know, and I would encourage you, if you know, go on the next steps page and enroll in the program that feels right to you. But if you're like, I want to chat with someone, I want to talk to someone, I want to see what the best path is for me, book a call. There's a link on that page to book a call. You can also book it through elisearcher.com/free call. We're here to help you kind of cut through the noise and the limiting beliefs and whatever that is, and help you make a path to your next level as well. So with that, does anyone, thank you, Lauren. If we could put the free call link in the chat as well, that would be amazing. Does anyone have a question or anything that came up for you with this today? It can be about the programs if you're not in the community yet. It can be about what we spoke about today. This is a time, we got a couple minutes. If anyone wants coaching on any of this or support around any of this. Laura and Sarah, I loved your engagement in the chat, just talking about what's showing up for you with this. So if either, I mean, I'd say this to anyone, like Laura, Sarah, who else is here? We've got Mary, Carol, Amy, your friends now. Yes, you two need to be friends. Do you not know each other? You two, you absolutely, oh my gosh. Well, you're both clients in different programs. You need to be friends with each other. You two will love each other. You're also both part of Adult Chair community, which is awesome. So, yeah, do you have questions on any of this, or coaching support, or anything that came up for you while we talked through this? Someone's off mute. Hold on. Mary, yeah. Hi, how are you?
Good. So I was thinking as you were talking through this, we're talking about different things and surrendering and what have you. And um, we always talk about some of the times that we come before we make that huge leap. And so I've had some of those different things come up lately that I didn't expect. But as you're talking, I was kind of thinking like, oh, when I had those really great months, when I had those great years, like what was different from what I'm doing now? Where was my attitude different?
Yeah.
And for me, actually, I thought I have in the last couple months, I'm just probably not the best words to use, but I have dropped the ball on my giving. Like I
Mm,
used to be so insanely active in all the support, the nonprofits that I support. And I've been so driven on working on my advancement of my program. I thought of it as you were talking. I thought, oh my God, when did I do something? And I volunteer a lot. And like
yeah.
sometimes it was part of my schedule. So while you were talking, I went online and I just sent some messages to see like where can I get back into serving
Oh,
some of them that I do, workshops
oh,
that I do for them and whatnot. Anyway, and signed up for a 10K walk this weekend that
oh my
supports one of
gosh.
them. So I'm like, got to take that action because when we give, we receive. So I
Yeah.
have neglected that, sadly.
Yeah.
Just kind of got my radar.
Oh,
Anyway, but it felt good.
it's beautiful. It's so powerful when you can look at those times and you're like, when I've been ascending, when I've felt lightest, freest, when things have felt like kind of like that wind beneath your wings feeling, like what were the common factors there? And Mary, that identification of I was giving more, I was focused on generosity more. Generosity, right? When we give, what's the energy behind it? It's the energy of I have, right? I have something to offer. Sometimes we can be, this is where people can get in a funky energy, is like you're so focused on creating abundance in your business and your life that you inadvertently create lack because you're like, where is it? It's not there yet. So to get back into that state of giving, and because from that place, there's an energy of generosity. There's an energy of I have more than enough. There's an energy of wholeness. I had a day last week where I was feeling some contrast and took the family out to dinner, and was kind of feeling the contrast through the dinner. But then as we were leaving the dinner, there was a woman sitting on a park bench who was homeless. And I just looked at her and I was like, boys, like, let's get her. We had been at this diner that they love. It's like a Portland, it's an iconic Maine diner, and they've got really good cake. And I was like, boys, should we see if she wants a slice of cake? Because I want to teach them, like to walk up to people and talk to them and to see how they can help. So we asked her if she wanted a slice of cake. And she said, yes, she would love one. That instant, like just that little act, it flipped everything. That $8 slice of cake, it was the thing I was most grateful for in the entire day, right? Because when you're in that state to be able to do something for someone else, I was messaging with one of you on this call the other day about it. I'm not going to say who, but like get out of fear and into service. That'll shift everything for you. So, Mary, I love that you identified that. And when you say from the place of all of my needs being met, how am I giving? How am I serving? How am I supporting? And from that place, how can I do as much as possible of that right now? You'll shift your energy completely. A beautiful example.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So good. So, so good. Laura, in the chat, you almost canceled your volunteering. You thought you knew the time for your business. You're glad you didn't. Yeah. When you think about part of why, for many of you probably who are here, part of why you desire greater abundance in your life is you want to be able to give more. Well, we want to fuse with the energetic state of giving now. So how can you, it's not about giving from depletion or burnout, but how can you give from a place of having, from a place of love, from a place of joy, from a place of, I have more than enough time and I have more than enough money to be able to give the way I want to give? That will shift everything for you. So Mary, I think that's a beautiful way to close out the call today. And I think that, and that's such a big piece of how to know when you're taking the action that's going to move you forward versus not. You feel in a beautiful state. You're in alignment. You're giving, you're generous, you're loving to others and yourself. That's when we quantum leap. So this was a beautiful call. Thank you all for being here. We will meet again next Tuesday, same time, same place. Please register via the link my team sends out to come join live. If you would like to book a call with myself and my team, go to the next steps link, ElyseArcher.com/next-steps, so that we can connect and talk about your vision and goals and how we can help support you. Have a beautiful rest of your Tuesday, everyone. I will see you so soon.